Welcome to my garden. In today's ongoing series on mental wellness and the vegetable garden, we're going to do three things. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to plant some flower boxes or containers with lemon balm, peppermint, and spearmint. That's going to be for a future video on mindfulness related to smell and taste. And then we're going to do a silent walk. It's a 4-minute walk through my garden where you're going to look and listen. And you're just going to observe and you're going to listen. And then after that video, I want you to do a creative writing exercise. It could be a piece of poetry, it could be any kind of writing, and if you like art, you could do sketching or some sort of artwork. But you take what you gather in that first 4 minutes from just looking and listening, and you put it down on paper, either written or in some form of art. And I'll explain that as we go along. So let's get started with planting up the flower boxes and containers with fragrant herbs, lemon balm, peppermint, and spearmint. So we're going to plant spearmint, lemon balm, and peppermint, and we'll do it as a mindfulness exercise, trying to engage all of our senses. We'll also be planting basil, other warm weather crops in future episodes in this series. But right now, those three varieties do really well if there's a little bit of frost out. If it's too cold out and you're getting a lot of frost or it's snowing, you can start them in these smaller containers, put them on a windowsill. When they germinate, put them outside. Before we get to the video, let me just show you the flower boxes from the first episode. Everything is starting to germinate. They've just been sitting outside here. And in a couple of weeks, we'll revisit these in a future episode. Alright, let's get started. Now, if you want, you can start these in flower boxes. I like to ask my neighbors, friends to save their containers when they buy nursery plants, and they give them to me, and I use them for plantings, just like this. We're going to fill them up with a potting mix, same potting mix we used in the flower boxes. And planting the lemon balm and the peppermint are really easy to do. You know, and as you're doing this, notice the materials you're using, how it's nicely shredded up, the different specks in there. And you're just pushing this in. You want a nice firm planting base. We're not going to really bury the seedlings too much, or the seeds too much. And when you pick these up, you can listen to the seeds. They're really tiny. There's easily hundreds, if not 1,000 seeds in here. We're going to do the lemon balm first, which all of these actually grow like weeds too. So once you get them going, you can divide these up at the end of the season. You can put them in different places, but I always recommend keeping them in these pots and containers because they just take over a garden. You can hear the tearing in the background. You can hear the trucks, and these seeds are really tiny. You're going to take a big pinch just like that and just scatter them across the top. You're going to overseed. You can watch where the tiny seeds fall, and then you're just going to rub them in just a little bit, and then you're going to press them all back down. You can label these if you want, but once they're up, they're really easy to identify. I mean, this smells exactly like lemon. It tastes like lemon. I make it and use it in teas all the time. So we have the lemon balm. We'll do one more, and if you want, you can do them in the smaller containers. You know, as you take these apart, listen to the sounds, feel how light they are. Let's do some, you know, on a smaller scale for the windowsill. And again, these can take a light frost, so if you're putting them on your windowsill, keep an eye on them. As soon as you see them sprout up, they're going to be tiny little specks of green. Take them outside whenever the temperatures are in the upper 30s or 40s, and just let them start getting some sun. Let's do the peppermint. Even smaller seeds. There's probably literally 100 in there, and we're going to overseed. Let's just sprinkle them on. See if I can get these back in here. I took a big pinch, not quite all of them. And you can hear them make sounds as they fall back into the package, and just rub them in. And you would do the same thing for the spearmint. And that will get you set up for future videos. And these just have amazing scents. Very, very powerful, very, very relaxing. We'll talk about that in future episodes. All right, so the next part of the video is the 4-minute silent walk. I'm not going to be talking. You're just going to listen. You're going to look around. You're going to observe. And just make notes in your mind what strikes you as interesting. And then at the end of the exercise, at the end of the 4 minutes, write something down. I did a piece of poetry. I'm going to post the same video, the 4 minutes piece, at the end, and I'll put my poetry in there just to show you you can express yourself and put it out there, and you don't need to be embarrassed by what you write. It's not about what you write. It's about the process. It's about getting lost and listening and looking in the garden, and then it's about sitting down and writing. And the writing exercises can give you 30-minute, hour, 2-hour break of just putting your energy into creating something either written, or if you like, you can do a piece of artwork. Either way, these things give you breaks from the troubles and stress in your life. And we all know what's going on right now with the health crisis. These aren't things to replace being worried and scared, or being upset or even angry. These are things to do in addition to that, so that you give yourself balance and you give yourself a break. All right, let's get to the video.